in our boys and the men they will become.
Lacey, Joan!
LJ and Lacey Mazzilli are fraternal twins. Both 7-year-olds like playing baseball with their father.
That was good, Lace.
If he looks familiar, it's because he once played pro baseball.
Base hit as Mazzilli does it again.
Lee Mazzilli used to be an outfielder for the New York Mets. He helped them win the World Series.
Let's see what my homework is.
Lee and his wife Danny also have a 9-year-old daughter, Jenna. Last year, Lee took a job out of town. He's managing a minor league team in Florida, and he now spends half the year away from home.
Hi, guys. Hi.
2 weekends a month, the family gets together, but they're having a hard time adjusting to all the separation. How they adjust is different for the girls and for the boy. Lacey and Jenna let their feelings pour out. They regularly write letters telling Daddy how much they love him and miss him. They spend hours drawing pictures that they send to Lee. And they spend lots of time talking to him on the phone.
You do your homework.
Daddy. Hi, Daddy.
Hey, Lacey Magoo, what's up?
Saying how they feel about him.
Okay.
I love you, honey.
I love you, too. And Daddy, before you, go, can you, talk to me one more time?
Okay, babe.
Okay, I love you. Bye.
Compare this to what their brother does.
You want to talk to Dad? Huh?
What?
He says he'd rather go outside to play ball. Now you could say there's nothing wrong with this. Boys will be boys. He'd rather play ball than talk on the phone. But there's a problem. Since Lee left for Florida, the girls have done fine in school and at home. But LJ's been acting out.
LJ went sort of off the wall.
Off the wall how?
Well, he's just more aggressive, more quick to a temper than he usually is. Picking fights all the time with the girls, jumping around him, poking him here, throwing this across, taking things away and running.
Instigator at times.
Disruptive, not listening to me at all.
Danny suspects it has something to do with LJ's missing his father, but being unable to talk about it, to express those feelings. Lee doesn't buy that.
I think sometimes my wife likes to get too analytical about a lot of things all the time. She gets into that deep stuff. I look at it as being a normal boy. That's an active kid that wants to play. And, hey, Dad, I'm 7 years old now. My friend is here. I want to go play basketball. I don't want to talk to you right now, Dad. I'll talk to you later.
That's because he's a boy?
That's what I feel.
Boys and girls, do they deal with troubles differently? Some researchers now say that some parts of life are tougher for boys because boys are more likely to hide their feelings. Boys aren't born this way, says Harvard psychologist William Pollack.
If you looked at female babies and male babies, the male babies are the more expressive babies than the female babies. And by age 5, it's hard to read a boy's expression on his face unless he's in extreme pain.
Pollack has just written a book called Real Boys, which says parents and society teach boys to stifle their emotions, and that damages boys.
I think parents are trying their best out there. Parents care and love. It's what society does. It's the messages that boys receive from all over.
The message to be a little man.
Absolutely. To stand on your own 2 feet, cut the apron strings, don't cry to mama, and just to be independent and show that you can do things all by yourself.
The Mazzillis say they treat their son the same way they treat their daughters. But when I pressed them, Danny eventually admitted a difference.
Do you respond differently to Lacey than LJ?
Yes. He's the boy. I don't want to make him into a mamby-pamby. That's what every mom will tell you.
At Emory University, Professor Robin Fivish found that even parents who deny that their child's gender affects their parenting do in fact parent boys differently. She brings parents and their 4-year-olds into a room and asks them to talk as long as they want about something that made them angry and sad. Repeatedly, parents have longer discussions about feelings with girls.
Are you upset?
Yeah, I'm upset about Kelsey.
After minutes of talking about what being upset feels like, Brita tells her mother in great detail about how 2 friends hurt her.
And they didn't want me to follow them.
They didn't want you to follow them? How come?
Because they wanted to play all by themselves.
Her mother offers a suggestion.
I think they will. We can talk to them about it.
With girls, parents are much more likely to talking about emotions as a way of dealing with them.
There's less feeling talk with the boys.
What do you do when you get angry sometimes?
Hit.
Yeah, who do you hit sometimes?
You.
And who else?
Daddy.
Yeah.
The mother doesn't focus the child in on the feeling of anger itself and on how he experiences it, but on what he does in terms of acting out on that anger. And mothers are surprisingly accepting of these kinds of reactions, that's sort of an appropriate thing to do with anger, but not so much with girls.
When girls talk about how they feel, they give detailed answers.
If you wouldn't let me play with someone, I would be alone and I would be sad.
And their mothers encourage this kind of talk.
How does that feel when you're alone?
It feels bad and I don't like that because I need to play with someone if I'm all alone.
Boys typically answer this way.
Do you remember ever being sad? Have you ever been sad?
No.
I think that the message that boys are getting is very much one that emotions are something that are inside me, whereas girls are really getting the message that emotions are things that are between people.
By age 6, say researchers, it's clear that boys have learned to keep their feelings to themselves. At the University of Connecticut, Professor Ross Buck hooks boys and girls up to a polygraph machine that registers nervous sweat. Then he shows them slides, some pleasant, others more threatening. Girls visibly react to the slides, but boys' faces usually show, well, take a look. It's not that he's not having a reaction. Look at his polygraph reading. It shows he's feeling lots of emotion. He's just not expressing it.
When you don't express emotion, others don't know how you're feeling, so they can't respond appropriately.
These 12 and 13-year-olds at West Middle School in Andover, Massachusetts, are aware that something different is expected of boys.
I think we are equally sensitive, but girls are allowed to show it. Society lets girls show their emotions more than boys. And if a boy steps out of that box and becomes super sensitive, they might be called names or criticized by their peers.
I think the box that society has placed on boys makes it really difficult to go up to people and to say to them, you know, I have a problem. So, I mean, even though there's, you know, guidance counselors and there's teachers and there's parents and stuff, I personally feel uncomfortable going to people with a problem.
Also, like, when a guy has a problem, especially if, like, another guy is making fun of you at school, if you were to tell your parents about it, and then someone were to find out, say you got your parents to, like, call their parents, that is, like, totally, you'll be, like, made fun of for the rest of your life. That's, like, wussy, that's, like, a mama's boy, so you, like, never want to do that.
This boy says he was teased for months because he cried when he got hit in the shin with a baseball.
I will be teased about it for the rest of that year, probably. And maybe it will even continue throughout the summer. Because it's not normal, well, it's not normal for a boy to cry.
Jeff's and his best friend's mothers have been talking about it and say it's tougher for boys these days. Girls can move out of the stereotype, be tough, loud. It's fine to be a tomboy. It's not okay to be a tomgirl.
And I think that there are far more acceptable behaviors for girls.
Which is completely different from when we were growing
absolutely.
up.
Absolutely.
Then I think boys had the latitude, much more so, I think, but I think now it's swung the other way, and wow, all of a sudden, I mean, girls have this freedom and this latitude that boys don't, and boys are finding themselves increasingly forced into a more and more narrow path.
Right.
Of course, isn't some of the difference between boys and girls biological?
Some of this boys are born with, right? I mean, some of it's testosterone.
There is a natural difference between boys and girls. Testosterone makes a difference. But the kind of boys who can't express their feelings, that's not testosterone doing that. That's what we're teaching them when they're children.
Why is this a problem? Well, some researchers believe boys' emotional repression is why they are more likely to act out in school, to be diagnosed with learning disorders and behavioral problems, to engage in reckless behavior like binge drinking and criminal activity, or the sadistic hazing practices that happen at some Marine training camps.
What happens to girls who are brought up in a way in which they're forced to be not a full person? They starve themselves, they cut themselves.
And people consider that a warning sign.
And we say they have a depression and maybe they need to go to a hospital or need to go see a doctor. What do boys do? They take pins and stick them into other boys, and we say boys will be boys.
Pollack says it's this kind of repression of feelings that leads more boys to end their lives.
Suicide is a major national boy crisis, but we don't call it that. Boys are 4 to 6 times more likely to kill themselves than girls. They won't be ashamed, they won't ask for help, they'll just do, and what they do is pull the trigger.
In South Boston, Kevin Cunningham was a popular 17-year-old, an honor student. To the outside world, he had no problems. Then, last fall, he stunned his family by hanging himself. His parents, Colleen and Larry, had no idea he was unhappy.
Obviously, he must have had something because he wouldn't have done this, you know.
But,
I mean, there's...
But you couldn't see it. You couldn't see it in him at all.
You know, if he held it, he never showed it, you know.
Right. You know, he never said, like, Dad, I really got to talk to you about this or that. Or, he never seemed to have any problems.
Suicide is the extreme case, but Pollack says all boys suffer because we teach them to be tough little men.
If we were to say to girls when they were 4 or 5, be on your own, don't express your feelings, don't cry, you're being a baby, we'd say, oh my God, we can't do that to her. But we do it with boys not because we don't love them, but because we think that's what will make them real men and real boys. But what we don't know is that doesn't work that way.
How do you get boys to express those negative feelings that can lead to serious trouble? When we come back, you'll see an expert's approach. What's bothering young LJ? How does he feel about his father's absence? John Stossel shows you the way to a boy's heart after this.
Ooh, hot. Sizzling. Summer's heating up because hot wings are back at KFC. Get 6 pieces for $1.99, 20 for $5.99. Summer, isn't it time for some really good chicken?
There's the dryer you bought at Sears, the fridge you should have, the air conditioner from who knows where, all waiting to betray you. But now, no matter who made it, the appliance repair specialists of Sears can fix it and guarantee the work. Sears Home Central, the service side of Sears.
Since Excedrin's the headache medicine, it was tested on one of the toughest types of headaches, migraines. The clinical tests proved Excedrin's formula relieves migraine headache pain. And to better help migraine sufferers, the FDA worked with Excedrin to develop an additional package with specific information about migraines. So next to Excedrin, there's a new package. Same proven formula called Excedrin Migraine. Excedrin Migraine, the only non-prescription medicine approved for migraine pain relief.
I admit it, I don't like to take risks. That's why Merrill Lynch Protected Growth Investment is right for me. In effect, I'm investing in the stock market, but I get the earning potential of a rising market without risking all my principal, even if stocks decline dramatically. My Merrill Lynch financial consultant recommended Protected Growth because he knows I like to play it safe. With my money, that is.
Hey, when it comes to the weekend, we figure it's time for kicking back.
Yeah, right. Now there's a car that helps your supercharged family take leisure to a new extreme. The supercharged Regal GS. Besides having more standard safety features than any car in its class, Regal also has room for 5 very supercharged people. And all their supercharged toys. The Regal GS by Buick, official car of the supercharged family.
Wednesday, she says she's saving abused wives and children the law failed to protect. But is she playing judge and jury? Primetime investigates Wednesday.
She was a teenage rebel
Your girl could get in trouble in here.
who got mixed up with the wrong crowd.
You're gonna make a lot of money on that one.
Eric loves me. He's using you!
Her mother had no choice
Tell me how to be sexy.
but to go undercover.
Have you seen this girl?
Inspired by actual events.
I want her back.
Lindsay Wagner in Fighting for My Daughter, ABC Sunday.
Boys have feelings too, but how do you draw them out? Watch an expert's approach that really works. The Secret Life of Boys. Then, a surprising add-on to your hotel bill. Should you pay for phone calls that don't go through? Give me a break when 2020 Friday continues. After this from our ABC stations.
I'm Jim Gardner. He was convicted of sexually molesting young girls, but before he could serve his time, he fled to Europe. Tonight he is back in Philadelphia. We will have the latest. This congressman stunned the nation today with the news that Bob Hope had died, but it wasn't true. We'll tell you what happened. It's playing to sold-out crowds around the world, but the producers of the hit Riverdance have made an embarrassing admission tonight. You'll find out what it is on Action News at 11 o'clock tonight.
This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's Clover Days at Strawbridge's. That's 3 days to shop, 3 days to save on great gifts for Father's Day. You'll find store-wide savings up to 50%. Save on a huge selection of sportswear, activewear, suits, dresses, and more. Plus, save on everything for your home. Shop Friday 9 to 11, Saturday 8 to 11, and Sunday 11 to 7. It's Clover Days at Strawbridge's. Don't miss it.
We do it all for you. Strawbridge's.
Right now, Levitt's has something you've always wanted. Free money! Levitt's is giving away 1,000 instant bonus bucks to everyone who walks through the door this Friday through Monday. Spin them just like regular bucks and save 10% off over 250 rooms of furniture. Save even on sale items. Plus, there's no down payment, no monthly payment, and no finance charge till $99. Hurry, Levitt's instant bonus bucks ends Monday.
So get into Levitt's and love the way you live.
Coming June 14th, an event so huge, it will blot out the sun.
It's gonna be big. Lotsie, coming June 14th from the New Jersey Lottery.
It's Pep Boys Quality Brand Days. Save up to $50. All ProStart 75-month batteries only $39.99 each. Name brands you can depend on only at Pep Boys.
From ABC News, 2020 continues. Once again, Hugh Downs.
As you've seen, boys who are feeling emotional pain and can't express it can wind up in deep trouble, in the most extreme cases, taking their own lives. So how do you reach a boy? How do you draw his feelings out before they lead to problems? As John Stossel continues, you'll see how an expert does it. Will his approach make a difference in the Mazzilli family?
The Mazzilli children look forward to winter, when they'll be able to spend more time with their father. He's now in Florida half the year, coaching a minor league baseball team.
All the orange colors are when we're going to be seeing Daddy.
This calendar helps the kids deal with the separation.
If you want to count ahead, how many days till next time it's orange? Elge, can you count?
3.
While Lacey Mazzilli and her twin brother LJ both miss their father, Lee says only Lacey says she misses him.
Lacey said, well, Daddy, why'd you take this job? And I said, why, honey? She says, I wish you didn't take this job. And I said, why? She says, because I want you home so I could hug and kiss you.
LJ doesn't talk about missing Daddy, but he's been getting angry after visiting Lee in Florida.
LJ won't get on the plane. I'm trying everything I can.
What does he say? I mean, is he just going?
I'm not going. I don't care what you say, I'm not going. I'm not going. And then he runs from me. I have to go get him, pick him up, bring him over, kicking and screaming onto that plane.
LJ never said why he wouldn't get on the plane, but Danny thinks it's because he misses his father, but doesn't know how to express it. Yet Danny has a conflict about how to deal with all this. She thinks boys who are too emotional will be called namby-pamby. At the same time, she wants LJ to let his emotions out.
I think that men showing emotions is not an unattractive thing. I think that we women spend all our lives trying to get men to talk to us and to try to tell us things and to be more affectionate and emotional and tell us how they feel about things. We're always forever trying to get it out of a man. And
but that's mamby-pamby.
Not necessarily.
See, there's
Not
no
necessarily.
two standards here.
No, because why can't you be the strong, silent type who expresses himself too?
What a bind. How can a person be both? It's a dilemma for boys and their parents. I wonder what I could learn if I just asked the kids about missing Dad.
When he goes, does it hurt?
Yeah. When he leaves to go on the plane and we drop him off, we always say, I miss you, I love you, I'm going to miss you so much.
The girls immediately talk about how they feel, how they sometimes cry for Daddy. LJ says he doesn't cry.
Not me.
So you cry and you cry, but you don't. How come you don't cry?
I don't know, because I'm a boy and I'm not a girl.
There you have it. He's a boy. He doesn't cry. But Dr. Pollack says this was no way to help a boy say what he really feels.
I've got this little thing here I thought we might do together.
Pollack says the way to learn the truth from a boy is to do something with him. Some activity, anything he likes. In LJ's case, building a truck out of Legos. Over time, while doing this, LJ told Dr. Pollack what I assume is the truth, and what was the opposite of what he told me, the professional interviewer.
Do you ever cry when you feel sad?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yep. With other people or just by yourself?
By myself.
Do you think people know that you're crying?
No.
You don't let them know, huh?
Nope.
You're not supposed to show them?
No.
Why didn't he say that to me?
The difference was when you talked to him, there were 3 or 4 girls around, there was mom and dad around. It was what I would call a public space. Boys are very almost phobic of being ashamed. When I talked to him, I did 3 things that were different. I put him in a safe space in which there weren't other people, or at least a lot of other people, watching. I engaged in action, because it's so important to engage in action play with boys when we talk. And I let him lead the talking. And once that started, I did one other thing. I shared my own feelings with him. I told him about my own childhood, how my own father had been away for a while. And all of a sudden, his sadness and his feeling, it just opened wide up. It must be really hard not having your dad at home.
Yeah, it is.
So, what do you do about it?
I do it. Usually my dad does.
Like what?
I do my homework in his office when he does his work.
Oh, it's like in the same place where he would do his work?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're right where he'd be, huh?
Yeah.
Do you ever pretend like you're being him?
Yep.
Pollack also does something we parents rarely do. He makes a brief statement and then shuts up.
I think if you got a chance to talk about how you felt about your dad, you'd feel better.
I know.
You say to him, if you talk, I think you'd feel better. And then you stop.
Right.
Why?
Because you don't keep going after a boy. With girls, the more we say, the more we interact, the more they interact. With boys, we want to touch on their feelings and then give them space to go back, not feel ashamed, think, and then come back to us. And the typical example is the little girl rushes home from school, bursts in the door, is almost always in tears, and says, "Mommy, Julie wouldn't let me play with her, and she said these bad things to me to Jamie, and what am I going to do about all this?" And Mom sits down, and she says, "Oh, let's talk about it," and they have a soda together, and they talk for hours and hours and hours, and she says, "Oh, Mom, you really helped me." Johnny comes home, he has a scowl on his face, he's lost a soccer game, Mom knows something's wrong, in her gut she knows something's going wrong. He says, "Nothing, Mom, I'm fine." He goes to his room.
What should a parent do?
Don't push him. Give him a little bit of space to save face. And then he'll come out of that room and he'll give a signal. It won't be one that's easy to know about. You have to learn about that. He might say, "When's dinner going to be ready?" Or "When's Dad going to be home?" That's his signal without knowing it for saying, "I need some help." Do you think he knows that you're sad and that you miss him?
Yes.
I had one mother who talked about what she called car therapy. Her son would do this kind of thing after a soccer game or a difficult time at school, and she'd wait for that moment, he'd come out, and he'd say, "When's dinner ready?" And she'd say, "You know, John, let's not do dinner right now. Let's go for a ride and get some ice cream." And his eyes would light up, and they get in the car, and they go for the ride. But it wasn't the ice cream. It was the action and the free space and the safe space with Mom. And on the way there, she'd say, "You know, you seem a little upset." And tears would come to his eyes, and he'd talk about his feelings. And he could talk in a way he could never talk in front of other people. So she protected his shame, she opened him up, and then she helped him to speak.
Pollack shared these thoughts with the Mazzilis. A month later, we returned to see if anything had changed.
Hey, big guy. Where's your backpack?
In the car.
How was school today?
It had. Now, when Danny senses there might be something bothering LJ, she gives him time to be alone and then offers to play a game with him, like this question-answer game. Whoever makes a basket gets to ask a question.
Okay. I'll answer any question you ask me. I'll answer. You gotta answer me a question.
This following exchange did just happen. Danny swears she and LJ didn't stage it for our camera.
What do you feel like when you're away from Daddy?
I missed him. I missed him.
Danny calls it basketball talk and says it's working. LJ has stopped acting out in school, and he's happier at home.
How did you feel about Daddy not being at your baseball game?
You have to wait for the moment.
Absolutely. And if you miss the moment once, that's all right. But if you don't know about the time silence syndrome and you keep missing the moment, then the boy withdraws more and more and more. And we lose touch with our boys, and they lose touch with themselves.
How bad do you want to be Mommy?
Really bad.
That's what I thought.
I think missing the moment may be the same with both boys and girls, John, but LJ has now had therapy. His mother is treating him differently. Is he a different kid?
Yeah, he hasn't really had therapy, but his mother is talking to him more about this. His father, too. I think he really is different. I just talked to his father yesterday. He said LJ came down to Florida to see him, and when he left, he wrote this wonderful note. I'm sad I'm leaving today. I'm really going to miss you so much. You are so brave to me. I really love you from the ground to God. From a child who never, ever wrote a note to him before.
John, you have a son and a daughter. Now, do you encourage your son to be the strong, silent type?
I don't think I do, but those are the signals he seems to give me. He doesn't want to talk about his feelings as much as my daughter does. I think we're born with some of this.
Some of it may be genetic.
You think that it is inbred? You and I were talking earlier that it comes from thousands and thousands of years of particular kind of masculine behavior.
Well, men had to stand in the woods with the spear to kill the animal. You had to be quiet and not show your emotions. Maybe we've evolved differently.
But you know, it used to be that women expected men to be that way. And now we want them to be in touch with their feelings and you know, to be sensitive. It's all our fault. Why is it our conversation? You think this is a male-female?
You're outnumbered here, too.
Thank you,
great.
John.
Thanks, John. Well, next on the program, check your hotel bill carefully. There may be some surprises on there, especially if you've used the phone. Arnold Diaz with a rip-off every traveler should know about. This week's Give Me a Break after this.
You don't have to be Italian to eat like one.
So then what does it mean being Italian?
It means loosen your belt, enjoy.
Is that it?
Yeah, it means have a breadstick and have more salad.
It means salute.
It means hospitaliano.
Hospitaliano.
Yeah, it means let me grate you some cheese. And oh, you gotta taste this. And we can't do enough for you.
Enjoy Hospitaliano at the Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
I'm gonna do a tarantella on the table right now.
And not in no shoes, you know.
Hey, tarantula eyes. The more you coat, the more it clumps. Cut the fuss, baby. Get Almay One Coat Mascara for double-sized lashes in one fast coat. And clumps? Forget about it. Double your lashes in one coat with Almay One Coat Mascara.
It is so unfair the way guys can just eat and eat, and then, oh, let's eat some more.
Life just got a little more fair.
It's like there's no time. I'm not eating. Unfair, unfair, unfair.
Introducing Sweet Crispers, chocolatey wafers that are so sweet and crispy, you won't want to stop eating them. And with 18 in a serving, you won't have to.
They're like bottomless pits.
Sweet Crispers, life just got a little more fair.
Oh, I wish I were a guy. No, I don't.
T-O-Y-O-T to the A. Toyota is the truck I drive every day. Not only for business, not only for play, it's what I'm rolling in when I'm around the way. From sun up to sundown, I'm all over town, just me and my Toyota, getting down for a great deal and a driving thrill. Toyota, for real. Peace every day.
I use my hands to speak to the world, so when I have a wart, I can't hide it, but Dr. Scholl's Clear Away One Step can. Its medicated strips remove warts fast. You can't buy a stronger wart medicine. Clear Away One Step Wart Remover from Dr. Scholl's.
You're watching 2020, winner of the Peabody Award for Excellence in Television News. Saturday, what price is too high to pay for beauty? Complicated plastic surgery in the doctor's office. Are you safe?
You had open weeping wounds.
That big.
Learn how to protect yourself. Dr. Nancy Snyderman, The Pulse, ABC News, Saturday night.
Are you really ready to throw somebody you love away for a case?
Yes. I got this
case because somebody at a high-rise blue-chip law firm recommended me as the best. I like how I got this case, Lindsay. And I'm gonna win it. I'm gonna win it.
Contemporary, classic, leather or lacquer, Siemens Furniture fits everyone's style and budget. See our comfortable lifestyle sales circular for extra values throughout the showroom. Get 1 week delivery plus make absolutely no payments and no interest till October.
There's no place like Lee Newman for the finest men's fashions in the Delaware Valley. Business attire, formal attire, weekend wear, expert advice, and unrivaled customer service. Visit Lee Newman today. Get suited for success.
We hear all the time about telephone rip-offs, like stolen car phone numbers, outrageous charges at privately owned payphones, and more. But a while back, Arnold Diaz turned the spotlight on a rip-off you might not expect. You better check your bill carefully the next time you stay at a hotel. You might find yourself saying, "Give me a break."
Hello? Okay, sell 1,000 PHB.
As an options trader, Stan Kleinberg has a nose for numbers, and recently, when his nose told him something stunk, he decided to fight back.
I think we get screwed enough in everything we do. You know, if we can stop it once in a while, let's stop it.
When he went to check out of this franchised Holiday Inn Express in Los Angeles, Stan the numbers man noticed $34 worth of long-distance charges for calls that never went through.
And I knew that I tried to call this number and nobody answered. I hung up. But they charged me $1.60, and then I did it again, $1.60. I say to the young lady, "How can this be?" She says, "That's not us. That's not Holiday Inn." "Who is it?" "It's our long-distance carrier."
When Stan complained to us, I flew to L.A. and checked into the same hotel.
Okay, I'm going to call my producer's number at home. We know he's not home because he's right here. 4 rings, no answer. We're hanging up. No way we should be charged for that call.
I called lots of numbers that rang, but no one answered. Came time to check out, the desk clerk handed me the bill, and there they were.
Whoa, wait a second.
$26 in long-distance charges for 13 calls that never went through.
You charge for,
Yeah, we do charge for the service of the hotel.
When we continued to complain, a hotel manager blamed the computer program provided by an outside company to run the phone system. The computer company's fault? The long-distance carrier's fault? Give me a break. It didn't take much digging for us to learn it's the hotel's fault. And it's happening at hotels all over the country, says Michael French of Insight Research, who recently did a marketing study of hotel phone systems.
Why are so many other hotels doing the same thing?
The hotel's answer would be that they're looking to get revenue and they feel they're providing a service.
But $2 just to attempt a call,
it's outrageous, I would say.
Most upscale hotels use a phone system that only charges after a connection is made. But many less expensive hotels use a system that they can program to begin charging as soon as the guest punches the number in, or 30 seconds or a minute after. The hotel can set any time limit it wants. At this Holiday Inn Express, the charges kicked in less than 30 seconds. It takes that long just to allow a number to ring 4 times and hang up. At $1 or $2 a pop, and thousands of hotels doing it.
They're working on the assumption that the majority of customers will never notice.
The manager did take the charges off my bill after I complained, but that didn't happen with Stan.
So right away, there's something wrong. There can't be anything good about this.
Right.
We got him.
To all the hotels that have been sneaking these charges past unsuspecting guests, give me a break.
Arnold's piece prompted Holiday Inn Express to post notices of its charges and to adjust its computer so phone charges would kick in after 6 rings instead of 4. In addition, the Holiday Inn Corporation now encourages all its hotels to upgrade their phone system so there'll never be a charge for calls that don't go through. We'll be right back.
I'm Jim Gardner. A congressman tells his colleagues Bob Hope has died, except that Bob Hope is still alive. We'll explain. He is finally back in Philadelphia, a man who molested his daughter's friends. And Philadelphia is truly Gun City this weekend. Next.
Working out or working hard, Centrum has your nutrition covered. With Centrum, you benefit from what science is discovering about how vitamins and minerals help maintain health and strengthen immunity. Centrum, always complete from A to Zinc.
You know, I've heard of these strips. Oh, they're from Pond's. Pond's Clear Pore Strips deep clean to unclog pores and gently lift blackheads away. So all the stuff you don't want on your nose ends up on the strip. It's like a veritable blackhead magnet. Pond's new Clear Pore Strips. Bye-bye, blackheads. From the Pond's Institute.
Every year, 350,000 Americans become victims of cardiac arrest. Suddenly, out of the blue, the heart stops, with little chance that the victim will survive. It happened to this 30-year-old man during a restaurant dinner.
His face has started to turn blue. And then I realized that, you know, there's a real good chance he's going to die.
But as we told you last fall, he was saved by an amazing medical device, a portable lifesaver that jump-starts the heart in those first critical minutes.
Push to shock.
This simple, inexpensive device could save thousands of lives, but few public places and emergency teams carried it. Well, it seems our urgent story helped spread the word. Reports are increasing across the country. The portable defibrillator is being credited with saving an Indiana man last week, and two others, one on a golf course, another at an airport. And in Pittsburgh, just this week, students at two local high schools were trained in the use of these little lifesavers. Emergency care doctors who conducted the mass training believe the device is that easy to use and that crucial to saving lives.
Don't forget to watch Nightline after your local news with the story of an American charged with murder in Honduras. For 5 years, he's been in prison, but he's still never gone to trial. And on ABC News Saturday night, there's a boom in cosmetic surgery, not in the hospital, in doctors' private offices. But is anyone checking to see if the doctors are qualified? ABC's Dr. Nancy Snyderman on the high price of beauty on The Pulse, tomorrow night at 10/9 Central.
I want to see that. And Monday on 2020, you have to see it to believe it. Minority shoppers say they are watched, followed, treated like criminals for no reason other than their color.
And it says, we are not kidding. Pull your pants down.
Law-abiding people humiliated and harassed. 2020 goes undercover to expose a shameful part of American life. Monday on 2020 at 9/8 Central.
And that is 2020 Friday. We thank you for joining us.
Remember, we're in touch, so you'll be in touch. I'm Barbara Walters.
And I'm Hugh Downs.
And for all of us here at 2020, you have a good weekend. Good night.
2020 has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.